I hope you can hear me. Uh, the best thing, sorry, today changed the time and to get night session. And what I'm going to do today, just to brief what I discussed last week, and continue from that point because I wanted to discuss the 10 principles. So that is the plan today. If you have any questions before I start? Shamila?
No, I'm okay, sir. I will listen.
Oh. So these are the textbook I mentioned and I already given to you. So I'll start with the man cave, the 10 principles. The other textbook from time to time I use, and so not stick on one textbook and all the material I don't think directly textbook. And the first three things, the one I try to finish today, when the principles and the people take the decision and the people interact and the whole economy three times. So this handout, you don't get this material. Yeah, like I mentioned, these three principles, sorry, 10 principles, the first four principles related to how people, individual make the decision. And the next three principle, how the individual interact with the society in terms of transactions and economic activity. The last three principle, whole economy, how it works. And the last time I tried to introduce you the difference between the microeconomics and macroeconomics. There I introduced the circular economic concept. There one side household, the society has two groups or household. The other side we have firms. I mean, we can't divide exactly you belong to firms and I belong to household, everyone belong to household and some belong to firm. That's what we notice. Household has all the resources, the economic terms, the labor, land, entrepreneurship, capital, all the other input. This economy household send all the resources to firms, firms produce, return firm pay you back, and the payments come, wage and salaries, interest, profit, all the things. This we noticed that they go through the factor market, that invisible hand decide the factor price. And for example, one sector wages, like say education, teachers, like that. If you don't feel that your wages not enough, you can join another sector, you can earn money. If you need more lesser time, maybe you can go to a sector, we can have a lesser time and you can earn money, you can earn more salary. In the resources firms produce and goods and services again in back to household, because household the one consumers and the goods and services. Return they pay because they have already money right now. Back and let's go to households. That also go to another box, and that's what we call goods market. And they are the demand and supply decide. For example, bread price decide here, and the quantity decide. Now this system, let's say one day all the citizens, all the people earn $5 billion. same 5 billion they can expend, they can enjoy the life. And so with that, the neoclassical economics believe that the society or people, individual reach to a Pareto optimum or the economic nirvana level. Like I saw you last time, able to reach the top of the ladder with that system. But unfortunately, the individual, rational individual work in the system, they try to optimize their satisfaction. When they try to do so, it's sometimes negatively or positively, mainly negatively, but there are some positive also, affect to the others also. In that case, what we call the market failure, due to market failure, what we notice, the society, though expected this economic nirvana point here, drop down to the second layer, second ladder, second point here. Second point. So, though neoclassical economists believe that the system takes you to the economic nirvana, reality is somewhere here. Take it back and lift them back and keep them or even higher position. There are another institution has been developed, that's what we call government. Now the government role you can see clearly mentioned here. Due to market failure, in the society fall down to the second point, that is obviously everywhere in the world happen. The correction has to be done by the government. So the invitations come from here. The government role in that way clear. Take the people, drop them, and even bring to the higher position. For that, the government need money. Where the government get money from all the channel, from all the market, individuals, firms, and all the ways government getting money. Now, like we noticed that if per day, let's say the society earned the system 5 million, many, even like Sri Lankan government tax and everything about government think about 3 billion. Now, see, that's the point here we have to look at. Taking 3 billion, the government should be able to at least value to 3 billion or even the greater has to inject to the system again. Otherwise, what we call government failure happen and the society fall down further again and again that happen. We notice that the Sri Lankan society already fall down, is not in the ground. Now we live in the underground, finding some other countries, UK, USA, and try to migrate. That is the system what we have in Sri Lanka. Now, with this system, I try to differentiate microeconomics and macroeconomics. The microeconomics, what we do, very clear, study this individual component, individual market, factor market, goods market, individual household, individual personal behavior, firms behavior, profit improve, individual transaction, individual behavior. And the market is separate market, rice market, and the separately partial market introduction. So that is the role of doing the microeconomics. The macroeconomics, what we do, take the whole the system as study the macroeconomics. That is like aggregate demand and supply, not partial demand and supply. Instead of price, they look at the inflation, unemployment, employment. They cut these tunnels and measure, and they say GDP, expenditure, income way or different way, they measure those things. That's the macroeconomy. Now, based these two extremes, the policies has also developed, and there are two different type of policies. What you call the macroeconomic policies. What macroeconomics policy doesn't inject the solution to the system. Inject the solution to the system, it doesn't know where it goes, and just to inject to the system as well. So that the macroeconomics, we have main two extreme policies, what we call monetary policy done by the central bank and the fiscal policy done by the treasury. It's something like that. If you have a water canal, water line, you put the water, let's say 100 liters, so expect go to the system also 100 liters. Now, problem is a country like Sri Lanka, even the other countries also, especially Sri Lanka, no? This water canal, everywhere leakages. Wherever the leakages, you will see, though the 100 liters put the water, at the end they reach to the system about 10 liters, which means the 100% policies, we get only system 10%. For example, the central bank change in interest rate, it doesn't work properly because these leakages and go out in the channel. Money printing and things, tax and fiscal policy expenditure like that. What are the leakages we see? Basically, the many economic activities in Sri Lanka, 65 to 60, sorry, 62 to 67% of the economic activities are informal. Informal economy. About 15 economic activities illegal, either illegal businesses, drugs, and these illegal. Altogether, about 87 economic activities are either illegal or informal. So you can see that in that way, the 87% of these leakages, at the end, the system absorbs only 13%. That is the problem with the macroeconomic policy. The microeconomics policy identify
Cannot hear you. So we can't hear you.
leakages in the system, leakages as a policy. That's the microeconomics policy. In that case, not really efficient because the it's a costly, and because it has to identify real patches and peaks. Macroeconomic policy efficient but not effective. Microeconomics policy effective because the really find the patches and fill it and the policies. So that is the thing. In the system, one day maybe I'm going to give you a presentation and discussion. Maybe when you drive, when you go here outside, you study a little bit. This system kind of a traffic system. Now imagine without the government, in that case, the traffic system, traffic police. It's like a system like that. The individual try to optimize their satisfaction. In that case, they try to drive fast and slow and enjoy an individual. So in that system, without the police, without the intervention, though we expect proper the optimization, nirvana situation, if we go to a kind of complicated junction, complicated roundabout. So you can see how messed up. Now, as a government, that kind of system, the police comes and police try to handle. Now, that you can see, you look at, it depends on the police officers' capability and efficiency, whether the system or people better off or not. The economy also same, that the government is efficient and capable, maybe the people better off. People can reach back to the economic nirvana or even the some more. Now we study some developed countries and study Sri Lankan situation. Sri Lankan is one of the best case in the failure economy or government failure economy. That happened because the government, like the police officer, you can see the some of the roundabout, some of the places, police officers efficiently and intelligently they handle the traffic. But some police officers, they really mess up. Some maybe number of times you also get angry and things happen. In that case, without the police officer, the normal system might be better than. So study this one. Now I need from you your presentation Monday when I give you without, now we have a true system. One is without intervention, like the economy I mentioned, without government. The other one is the traffic system intervention by the police. Can you look at the AI or whatever the theme? I want you to introduce or suggest the better system that the police officer or it is economy better system than the government. Think of that. One day I'll give a discussion. You have to discuss for that 2 weeks or 3 weeks, observe how things happen on the road and how traffic police or traffic things happen. Bring a case studies and we will give discussion. Any questions, any clarification about that? Anyone? Oh. Get ready and observe carefully and keep the cases and maintain. Maybe if you want to record also, I'll give one day that exercise. I need the better system than the police officer. If connect to the economy, better system than the government. Now, these are the principle. The first principle. So from this point, the new material, last week we did not discuss. The first principle, it says the people pays trade-off. When you take the decision individual, for example, if you listen to my lecture right now, you can't do other things and this trade-off happen. So that is the first principle. All the decision, this happen like we discussed last time, resources are limited, scarcity. And your need, demand, unlimited. Because of that, this trade-off, this principle, for example, in the study, let's say the exam time, you have less hours. When you work somewhere, you have less time for lessons. So now see the policy contradiction. Those who don't work, like my story, grasshopper and ants. Now the government always support to the grasshopper. They have the leisure time, and also because of leisure time, they like leisure time, and the government pay for them. So that policy contradiction. Now you observe the big match days. Let's say 2 big school, big matches happen. The particular day, if you look at, the parents spend what the school can run for years, the money they spend. So that kind of a policy contradiction, you can see I mean, go back to the ants and grasshopper story, you can see. Yeah. Now, the second principle is linked to the first principle. Cost of something is what you give up to get it. That's what is simple word everybody know what we call opportunity cost. Opportunity cost. Anything what you do, so that is the opportunity cost. You know the opportunity cost, basically the basic economics concept. Every action, every consumption, everything what you do, you have an opportunity cost. So that is the very basic thing in economics. And this is the second principle. This happened the limited resources and unlimited demand. Now here, example. So you doing this masters right now, and this has opportunity cost. You have to spend some money. It's not a money. Also, a time also that you can't work. That time maybe some earn money. That is a directly opportunity cost. Principle, the rational people think at margin. The economics, what we look at the marginal concept to make the decision. Now, for example, marginal utility, the marginal profit, marginal revenue. Rational people take the decision using this marginal, the concept, not the total value. So that is there are some arguments against this also, but according to the Mankiw, this is the main principle. Individual, you make the decision. Marginal concept, always what we use the economics, especially microeconomics and microeconomics also, and take the marginal concept. In the fourth principle, that is very interesting. Rational people respond to incentives, either utility or disutility. That is very important. For example, when the government increase direct tax, that is a disutility incentive to not to work. Or otherwise disincentive to work. It's a punishment like a kind of thing. So people respond. If the more work, you have to give the incentive that the people work. Now, if you look at the Aswasuma, when the government increase Aswasuma benefit, it's an incentive not to work. So that the both principle, when you work, you get the salary. So that is the incentive to work. Yeah. Next three principles, how people interact the society. So the first one, trade can make everyone better off. So that is very interesting. When you do the transaction, when you do the trade, everyone, they become better off. So though I mentioned before, the economic nirvana, without trade, I mean, international trade, if you look at basically, even the government, without government, usually the people at this point, government can come to and lift them back. With international trade, the society can better off or lift more than this optimal point. Now look at here. I hope you are familiar with this graph I'm going to draw here. That graph, what we call production possibility frontier. Production possibility frontier. So on this line, that is the optimal level the country can produce. Let's say two types of good. Let's say the consumption good and capital good. Given resources and given technology, there is the optimal level a country can produce at the given time. Expansion is happened due to economic growth that I will take later on. Now there's another curve I'm going to draw here that also I will take later on how to get it. That curve, what we call community indifference curve. Community indifference curve. How it derive the summation of individual indifference curve and getting this reflect welfare of the society. Welfare. Now you can see without international trade, without trade, the optimal level the society can reach this point given situation. Otherwise, need additional technology to improve this or additional resources. Now you can see without additional technology, without additional resource, engage in international trade, society can be better off. So the main skills, you can read the chapter number 3. You can see how it's happened. Now here, this is the domestic price ratio in the two goods. Now, what happened when we engage in the trade, the price ratio change. Either way, I'll draw like this. Let's say that this is the world market, not the domestic world market price ratio. Now look at it in the trade. You produce now point B, only the same resources, same technology, only transfer A from A to B. Previously more capital good, now less capital good, more consumption good, whatever. Depend on the comparative advantage or whatever thing. Now in that you can see just engage in trade, society can reach to higher level of indifference curve. I do the W2 because it's reflect to welfare. W2 is greater than W1, the welfare level. You can see just engage in the international trade, society better off without additional productivity improvement, additional resources, additional technology. So the trade can make everyone better off with that. So the partial, this is the general equilibrium analysis. The partial equilibrium analysis also, we can explain this, how everyone better off with the trade. Now how this happened, with the countries specialized with the trade and the productivity improve due to only specialization and society better off. And the principle number 6, the market are usually good way to organize economic activity. Like we explained from the beginning, without intervention, these principles say the markets are the usually good way to organize economic activity. And this way the people, a society reach the optimal, what you call Pareto optimal level or economic nirvana level. So the market is the decide what to produce, how much to produce, who get it, and things in the market. What technology use, decide by the market. Demand and supply. According to Adam Smith, that decide the invisible hand price. The particular market, if you don't, let's say $8, if you don't like, you can go to another market. Other market is, let's say, this is the bread. Then you can look at the cake, and if you happy, you can buy cake. So it's up to you. And that way, neoclassical economy believes that society can reach the economic nirvana point. But the problem, like I mentioned before, though the Adam Smith said the invisible hand decide the well-being, cooperative optimal level, the economic nirvana. This is the case. The market economy. When the market decide. Now look at here, this picture, I don't know, you're familiar, I took from somewhere in the Borella. This is the decision market. Now they use the public road to do business. When you work, when you drive, when you go everywhere, you can see this kind of situation. Demand and supply decided. So it's create a traffic jam. It created so many problems to others. Because this is the public places and public road. So in that case, like I explained before, the government intervention, government can improve the market outcome. Like I explained before, if government properly work, properly identify the failures, market failures, government can improve the result. Now, later on, I will discuss with you what are the reasons for market failure. Just to drop down some key reasons here. One of the market failures, one of the reasons for market failure, what we call externality. What does mean externality? As a rational individual, when you do something, either consumption or production, it's negatively or positively affect to the others in the society without their getting benefit or without payment. Now, for example, let's say you have a cement factory somewhere here, and the river, your cement factory, dirty water, you drop it to the nearby river. Now here the community, the fisheries community or whatever the community, their life depends on this water. Since you destroy the water, you pollute the water, these people negatively basically affect to these people, their source of income, their health related issues coming. You see. But for that, no compensation, nothing come from the cement practitioner. So the cement factory owner, they become rich and because these earning money, these people suffer health, their economic activities then drop. That is what we call negative kind of externality. The positive externality also there, whatever the negative or positive externality negatively affect to the market outcome or economic nirvana situation. The positive externality, one example, let's say neighbors, here some people live A and the B. Now A, let's say have a beautiful flower garden, flowers. The B have a bee farming. Now this bee take nectar from these flowers and make bee, and this neighbor bee selling those earn money. But who is neighbor A? For that neighbor A does not get anything from B. Maybe only these two neighbors, as usual in Sri Lanka, fight each other. But the B goes there and take the he earn money. Look at the real estate development. It happened development, neighbors, their land also automatically increase, price increase. Though some mainly they trouble when the developments come, but at the end their land also increase. So that is the positive externality. Whatever the positive or negative externality is a negatively affect to the optimal level of the market outcome. That's what we call market failure. We will discuss those in detail later on. And another reasons for market failure is simply what if you say the monopoly. The monopoly situation also, the price, the decide at the market, demand and supply does not reflect the reality, real value. So it create due to that, like externality, people drop into the second point from the top or economic nirvana point to the second point. Another reasons for market failure, what we call public goods. We will discuss those things later on in detail. The public goods. In the public goods case, anyone can consume without paying. We will discuss later on why and how. So in case of public goods, in that case, the price becomes zero. But the public goods, roads, the environment, all the public defense, it's very important for the society, not only the producer, but also the consumers. But since the price is zero, when you come to revenue is P multiply Q. So since here P is zero, revenue also becomes zero. When the revenue becomes zero, profit definitely becomes zero. So not zero, profit becomes negative, of course, because the involved anyway. Now, in case of negative profit, no individual producer comes and produce public goods. But like I mentioned, public goods are very essential for the society. Producers, let's say, semi-public goods, like electricity, like water, even the roads. Without producers, can't survive. No production. That's a danger, that the beauty in other way, also public good. Without public good, no society, no survival. In the consumer side also same. But the other side, as a nature of the public good, there are two main characteristics we learn later on. Due to this reason, public goods, anyone can enjoy, anyone can consume, anyone can use without pay. Without pay mean profit become negative. When the profit become negative, no one. So in that the market system, without government, there are no public goods, which means no society, no economic activity. So that is what we call another reason for market failure. Due to that, society will fall down to the second in the ladder. The main reasons, the market failure, what we call imperfect information, we will learn this later on, is something like that. Information can be perfect and information can be imperfect also. But here, the imperfect information, real case is in the context of market failure, what we call asymmetric information. One party has certain amount of information, let's say, when you buy a used car owner knows about the car, let's say 60% of the defect and all the things. But as a buyer, when you reach there, looking at things, maybe you can get only 20% about the information. Now, this difference, what we call asymmetric information. This asymmetric information, though Adam Smith say the invisible hand decide the market price, is negatively affect to the optimal level of market price, the best market price. If you don't get the best market price, ultimately all the system collapse and the market will fail. So the asymmetric information, rather imperfect information, asymmetric information. Imperfect information is not harm, basically. No need always the full information, 100%, 100% both. Both sides 100%, not reality, not happen also. But both sides has a 60%, 60%, that is also not much harm. When you come to transaction and decision, both parties have the same power. But the danger here, the asymmetric information. That creates market failure, and which results society fall down to the second point of the ladder. Then the second 7 principles come. The government can intervene and improve the result and lift the society back. For this point, the policies government introduced what we call second best policy. Second best policy. Second best policy. If the society fall down to the third point here, that happened due to market failure, sorry, government failure, what required policy, what we call third best policy. Third best policy. Like that, the society fall down to the fourth best, we can say that we need fourth best policy. Likewise, the society fall down to the ground, that long time in Sri Lanka happened, we need the ground policy, grounded policy, maybe. Now Sri Lankan society is underground. In that case, I can say that we need the underground policy. That may be the politically and the policy level underground mafia may be running. That might be the reason. I don't know in Sri Lankan society. You can see the first the policymakers has to understand where the society land locate, whether the first point or the economic nirvana point or this point. After that only proper policy is introduced. If not, this 7 principle does not work. Principle number 7 does not work. This happened the market failure. For example, in case of, let's say, the society is the ground level or underground level. Still, priority given introduce the second best policy, that is the correction of the market failure. It doesn't work. That is exactly happening in Sri Lanka. That is exactly happening in Sri Lanka. So those things we will look at later on and discuss. Now, we are now in the principle number 7. So we have to look at, maybe one day we will discuss how can government intervenes to the market in case of market failure, and the government intervenes to the market failure. Now, look at this. Some of the thing is, let's say that this is the market decision and market happen. To make it proper way, the government will try to correct it, design properly. But what exactly doesn't work, and the cost to the society and the cost to the economy that way. Because the government policymakers does not understand, does not read properly the market failure also. It would have happened, maybe they designed the road in different way, the policymakers doing mistake. Now here you can see, some time back, Sri Lanka almost about to set this kind of transport system. Now our failure, the government failure, now we did not get it, and you can see this happen reality, the Bangladesh, they got it. So the last 3 principles, how the economy work as whole, last 3 principles. That comes to the principle number 8. Principle number 8, it says a country's standard of living depend on the ability to produce goods and services. This is applicable to individual also. Individual standard of living also depend on how work hard. But in this case, what happened in Sri Lankan case, though you work hard, the government punish you, increase the tax. Now, for example, your level, even I don't know whether you are know or not, we have published some journal article, 2 journal article or 1 book also, you can read it, online you can get it, how tax damaged the economy, how much you pay direct and indirect tax together. Currently, direct and indirect tax together over 65%, around 72%, what you earn, you pay to the government. Your income level people, our income level people. You can calculate it and direct and indirect tax together. So you can see when you earn some, let's say $100, for your consumption, you get only about $25. Other 75 taken by the government right now. So in that case, maybe this principle become wrong. Because of government intervention, it make it wrong. Now this principle say the countries standard of living depend on the ability to produce goods and services. Now, you can look at some countries, for example, though it's not happened in Sri Lanka, maybe Sri Lanka 100 years ago, the living standard better than right now, those who work. Now, USA, if you look at the 100 years ago, since they work hard, they introduce new technology and their life standard now better. So our policy is like a grasshopper and ant story. As an ant, you work hard, the government come and punish you, and it's a kind of a disutility. And so though you work hard, your life standard is not good. So in that way, it discouraged to work. The other way, like a grasshopper, the government give incentives those who don't work, and in that also the negative. I mean, against this principle number eight, that entirely depend on the productivity. So the economy policy needs to improve productivity. For that, we have to develop technology. Now we are living in the fifth industrial revolution. There, AI is the key, and we need the industries right now, not the sunset industries, sunrising industries. So, but our policies, if you look at our industrial ministry, they are encouraging, they are pushing sunset industry. So it doesn't improve the productivity. So it doesn't improve new technology. Ultimately, you can see what happened. So we need the policies to address these failures, like labor union issues and things, and that improve the productivity, and that improve the life standard. So what we try to do, something like this. If I draw here, like I did the previous, production possibility frontier. Now, optimal level without international trade, society can reach this point A. But now in Sri Lankan wrong policy, tax, high tax and this thing, those who work, their living standard is opposite here. Since you earn, the government, you have to pay tax and your living standard somewhere here. Those who work. Those who don't work, they are living standing, giving the assessment more money and more. Maybe if you count a lesser time and everything, maybe they now took over you. Those who work and those who don't work, their living standard somewhere here now above the people who work. I mean, if you add their lesser times and everything, so their welfare level is above the working group. Now, the living standard improve, what you have to do, the production possibility frontier, touch this production possibility frontier, shift the production possibility frontier. In the exam, sometime I give a question also, what are the policies we can introduce, shift production possibility frontier like this. If you shift the production possibility frontier, then you can reach the higher level of welfare level compared to the, like say, W0, W1 you can get. So that is this policy principle say. The productivity improve, move the production possibility frontier and reach the point B. But Sri Lanka, what we try to do, without moving the production possibility frontier, we try to reach welfare level equal to US. That are the last 78 years what we did. Still our production possibility frontier here. In the inefficiency we produce somewhere here. Point D point. While we are producing, earning GDP here, point D, we try to reach the point somewhere E. You see here the gap. You can see the gap. So this gap, if we look at carefully in history, just after independence, since the British, they left for us the surplus, we enjoy this kind of welfare using that surplus. E level of welfare, producing D, we enjoy using the surplus. So after that 1960, since surplus finished, since we were a country, developing country, we got so many donation, international foreign donation. With the donation, we enjoy this kind of, we fill this gap. Then 1990, somewhere, our economy level, they call so-called improvement and came to the middle income level. That's also, I don't know, the secret, open secret is maybe only data manipulation they make it in whatever way. We reached to the middle income status and the donation stopped. Then we got loan from other countries, mainly China, high interest rate, high over the even the market rate. We enjoy using this high interest loan money also the same, producing the point B, the level of welfare E. Did not use this money. People claim that they use the corruptions. Anyway, the corruption all the world happen, all the everywhere happening. But the main thing is did not use this money productivity and the economic development purpose and maintain the high welfare status they used. So what happened in that way, 2015, 2017, 2018, we had a problem. Since they took the high interest loan, we couldn't pay back. That's what we call the economic crisis came. Economic crisis came. Now, no loan, no subsidies, no donations, and now no option. The IMF came and IMF say only thing is increase the tax. Now what happened? Government take hell of tax. Those who work and there the welfare going down. And those who work, though producing even the D place, their welfare now even the below. And the try to fill this gap using those tax money. Tax money. Still not the government or country still does not use those money, the economic development or in other way, productivity improvement purpose. So in that case, you can see the no future, the how it's work also. Nowadays, now government say the treasury full of money, but still you can see it doesn't use for producing goods and services, introduce new technology. This doesn't happen ultimately, not put into the productivity improvement. So you can see the standard of living, what happened country like. Now here, exactly what happened, our economic system, our policymakers, when you put this thing, now simple, you can understand if the economy goes to the businessman like that. But they do it directly, they buy same thing. Now here the banana and no value addition, no change, and they sell higher price. So that is what the businessman do. No value creation. Now the government what they do, buy the same banana, no value creation, and our government buy 150, they sell $1. So this what the loss they try to recover from right now from taxpayers, those who work, community, their money. Previously, like I explained, what they left by the British, then the donation, then the loan, high credit, high interest loan, now taxpayers. So government tried to enjoy, government tried to get the vote from the people, and that's what the government do. But what I put this picture here, the government should work as an entrepreneur. This banana creating adding value addition here, they sell five. So you can see the economy in that way, the production possibility prompt here, with the value creation, the shift here, then you can reach the higher level of welfare. Now the government what they're doing, producing somewhere here, producing the inefficiency somewhere here, they try to even lower price and without shifting the production possibility frontier, try to reach the point B. That's what exactly do. So I come to the principle number 9. We are going to stop soon. It says the prices rise when the government print too much money. Of course, everyone we witnessed last few years, central bank printed so much money. This is exactly what happened. Inflation is reached even the time back, even the over the 50%. So nowadays, a little bit settled down. But that is the reality. When print more money, it creates inflation. So you might remember, sometime maybe some of you are not born even, 1988, if you go to supermarket, you buy in the $20 full of card. When you come to the 2005, maybe you can see how much you can buy. You could buy 2013. Now imagine 2026 right now. Even the no-need card and then even the shopping bag. Even nowadays, no shopping bag. You take whatever $20 you buy your hand and take it to the account. You can see how inflation, though the government or central bank claims that, what happened is how it's cost to the individual. Now, the last principle that linked to the inflation, society pays short-run trade-off between inflation and unemployment. When the inflation increase, what does mean trade-off? Unemployment reduce. But unfortunately, though this happened the last few years in Sri Lanka, inflation increased, our unemployment also increased. That kind of against the theory, that exactly what happened. You can see sometime back in 2023, our inflation rate 133 Sri Lanka. And you can see how people buy things and spending. So this is the short-term trade-off, the opposite direction. Yeah. I'll stop this one. This is the point. Next week, I need from you a discussion. I will WhatsApp you also. If you, I already share with this slide also. This exercise, this group exercise, we will do next week. Here, we already set a 5-member group. And what we have to do, sorry, give me 1 minute. What you have to do here, select 2 scenarios, and 2 scenarios mean I suggest some topic here, you have to select one from here, 1 to 8. And the other one, your own kind of similar themes. And briefly explain and how the economic principle, what we discussed, at least 5 principles related to each scenario, and explain it. So that is the presentation about minutes each group. No need to make the presentation each and every member. Maybe one member you can present. It's up to you. But I'll give you all maximum 4 minutes when you meet. So the next week we will do this exercise. So again, if you have any questions about this exercise, please ask me. After that, I will stop. Any questions, any clarification about that? Okay. Shamil, any questions, anything? Okay. So I'll stop this point. So today
Excuse
what
me.
we did. Yeah.
Excuse me, Professor.
Sure.
The presentation should be 2 from the following or 1 from this and the other from our choice.
Other one similar to whatever the thing, you decide the topic, your group, and it should be aligned with the principle. It should be able to align with the economic principle, at least few principles.
That means it should go with the one which we have selected from the below.
One, and the other one also, you have to decide the title. Okay.
All right. Okay.
These are
Thank
the
you.
title suggestion. From here, you select one. The second one, you discuss with group members and you decide the topic.
Okay,
Right.
Professor. Thank
The size the 2 topic coming. Again, 1 or 2 or whatever you decide, or whatever I decide here, the final exam also coming. Okay, if no any other clarification, I'll stop this point. We'll see next week. Sorry.
Excuse me, Professor.
Yeah, tell me.
So, Professor, what happens if government stops giving asylum and other benefits to those people who are affected? Then will it be a much more serious problem?
I'm sorry, I did not get your point because some disturbance coming at some point. Yeah.
What
Aswasuma?
Yeah, what happens if government stops asylum and other programs like that to people who are enjoying right now? Won't it cause much more economic problem to the society?
Social unrest, unless it is weaned off slowly.
My side is something from I can't take it. Two of you talk, I did not hear. I changed now. Yeah. Can you tell me again?
Also, what happens if government stop asylum and other beneficial program to the people who are enjoying it? Will it provide much more economic catastrophe events?
Again, sorry. I really the break in my your voice. I don't know my some really I did not hear. Sorry. maybe next week or maybe your it's broken. Then I can't. Some here and there I can't hear you properly. What you say, the Aswasuma, after that I did not hear properly.
So the question he's asking is whether stopping Aswasuma will create more detriments to the society.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I think that is a very good thing. And we have to ask the question. I mean, that's a very good question. And now stopping the Swasuma like this, this society need the social protection, the mechanism. The social protection, it does not mean alone the social welfare. Now, what happened? Our social protection means the people believe, the policymakers and politicians believe that only social welfare. The Swasuma is mainly kind of a social welfare. There are social protection, some inputs also there, social welfare. Now, if the society has some, like I explained, the ants and grasshopper, some really we have to help them. For example, the group kind of disabled, but it's also not help to disable if some we create an opportunities. We create opportunities. And still now let's say some in the society, for example, when you work somewhere, your industry, your firm collapse or disaster situation come and you get lost your job. For that case, you need the kind of customer support to that particular period. But the endless giving the Swasuma supporting whole lifetime is a failure. So in that case, the government has to do now 2022, I remember, we develop in the World Bank and Treasury, we develop social protection strategies and policies. There, we promote how the social welfare we call it the graduation of the poverty graduation from poverty. The policies we need to graduate them. For that, we need to create opportunity. It's a society. It's not only that in Sri Lankan society, our finding, but you have to change the mindset of the people also. Now, what happened? Years and years, giving kind of a welfare, giving kind of a policies, people know that even without working, this kind of encourage not to work and getting these subsidies. Even the somebody against me, the education, giving the primary education pre fine, but the university tertiary education given pre is not necessary. It create a unnecessary burden to the society. The young people also, that is the young blood and the productivity aging, they don't work and earn. Let things without pre-university education, they work somewhere and earn. They know the working culture also develop. I mean, that kind of a policies we need. Now, Aswasum also, it's encouraged not to work and get in Aswasum. And also, those people more and more tend to work informal sector also. Because the government get to know that they work and earn money, they know the government stop the Aswasum. I did the study 2024 with the Samurdhi, exactly that what happened. Because the Samurdhi people, what I found that when they get the Samurdhi money, those days 2,000 rupees, so very small amount, but still before Samurdhi, if they work 6 days per week, after getting Samurdhi, they stop work 1 day and only work 5 days. I don't remember the percentage that exactly happened. Another sort of people, what they didn't, still work in 6 days. If they give, let's say, 1,000 rupees to housework, house activities, they deduct that amount, about to 500 rupees. I don't remember the exact amount. The other 500 they use for gambling and kasip. So that exactly happened, this kind of behavior. Even the Aswasuma now government increased 25,000. So that's a reality. I mean, that's a discouraged work and the negatively affect to the economic growth. So that exactly happened. We need the welfare, but that has to design perfectly, not discouraged work, and has to be development oriented, not the poverty oriented. That's what I see, and I have written some article also. I think 2 articles based on our study we did 2022-2023 related to social protection. You can read it also. Okay. I don't know whether your questions I answer properly.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you.
Or maybe you got input. You can give input also. With that, I'll stop today. We will see next week. Sorry, I did not hear your question properly. Thanks, Shamila, gave the question. And so good night, everybody. And I'll stop this one.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank you, sir. Good
Thank you,
night.
sir. Good night.
Thank
Thank you, sir. Good
Thank you,
night.
sir. Good night, sir. Thank you.
Good
Thank you,
night.
Professor. Good night.
Good
Night,
night.
sir.
Bye. Bye. Bye.